Hey, and welcome back. Today we are continuing our series called Awake But Not Free. This is where we're talking about how we might be growing and understanding things more, but we still feel super stuck and overwhelmed. And today's topic is anxiousness, anxiety. It can be so disheartening to do all this work to manage your mental health and still feel like you're stuck and not a free person. So today I want to help you understand your anxiety and give you some really helpful ideas and tips on how to break free from anxiety's grip. All right, so you've left the chaos of your narcissistic relationship, or let's just say it ended, because very few relationships with narcs end with just walking away. Those relationships usually go up in flames, so if it has been a long and painful and dramatic, confusing process, I want you to know that you're definitely not alone, and feel free to leave some comments down below and connect with each other, share your stories, that's always helpful. Anyway, you survived the gaslighting, the walking on eggshells, the emotional confusion. You've done the therapy, or you're doing therapy, reading everything you can get your hands on, and doing your best to follow through with this healing work. So I'm sure you're probably wondering why you're feeling so damn anxious every day, and if it will ever go away. If you're like me, maybe you're questioning, is this just going to be my life? Am I just fucked for the rest of my life? You probably know, or at least think you know for the most part, that you are safe. But the truth is your body doesn't feel safe and it doesn't know what to do about it. Maybe you're having thoughts like, what's going to happen? Will the kids be okay? Will I ever recover from this? I have nothing. How will I rebuild? All those questions are swirling around and are threatening your safety. All of this noise in your head is your nervous system doing its job. So I'm going to explain all of this, but first I want to mention that I have a free guide called Finally at Peace where I detail how our nervous system gets stuck in dysregulation, and I also explain in detail what it looks and feels like to live in peace and freedom. There's a checklist and a quiz that makes it easy for you to understand where you fall on the continuum of like survival mode versus total peace. Where are you? So grab it in the description below or comment guide and I'll be happy to send it to you. Okay, back to our nervous system. Our nervous systems are designed to keep us safe. It's designed to predict danger, and that includes what will happen next. When you have had the rug pulled out from under you, when you realize your whole life was built on a fantasy or a dream of what could be instead of what actually was, then you start to question your own instincts and wonder what else could happen that you can't predict. Anxiety is based on fear. It's an uneasiness about the future and what might happen. It's based on a reality where you feel powerless or that something might happen where you will be powerless and hurt. Anxiety says, I don't know if I can handle my life. I don't know if I can keep it all together. I don't know what to do if something happens and I don't know what to do. I don't trust myself to make a decision. I don't trust that people in my life will support me. Anxiety at its core is a fear of being alone and abandoned with no resources or support. If you strip away all the chaos in our head and get down to the base level, it always comes back to that. So it makes sense if you think of it in this way. You were abandoned. You were living a life that looked good on the outside. Your relationship with your narcissist checked a lot of boxes that people use to determine if a relationship is successful or not. But ultimately, it all came crashing down, and you're the one who feels like a fool. You're the one who beats yourself up. How could I have let myself be treated like that for all those years? I'm such an idiot. Clearly, I can't trust myself to make any kind of decision. And our codependent tendencies are now left out in the open, completely exposed. So we feel anxious. When you live in constant emotional threat, never knowing when the next attack will come, your brain learns to predict danger. You became an expert at reading tone, silence, energy, timing. That's what we call hypervigilance, and it kept you safe. But now your system still believes calm equals danger. It's still calibrated to needing to predict what is next to assess for safety and create a plan. So every time things are peaceful, your body says, be careful. It always gets worse after this. All right, so speaking of codependency, understanding all the nuances of that is a whole separate episode, but for now, I'm going to say this. Your body wasn't addicted to the person. It was addicted to the control and prediction, and that addiction was about nothing more than safety. I keep myself safe and feel significant by controlling what's happening around me and feeling like I know exactly what will happen next. That's how you survived. When you live inside chaos, whether that's a narcissistic relationship, an unpredictable home growing up, or even a pattern of walking on emotional eggshells, your nervous system learns that safety isn't found in calm, it's found in anticipation. I want to say that again so it sticks. Your nervous system learns that safety isn't found in calm, it's found in anticipation. What's going to happen next? So when the relationship ends and that control is no longer needed, your system panics. It's like, if I'm not reading every tone and planning my every word, who am I? What keeps me safe now? I need to know what's going to happen. I have no experience with trust or reason to lean on trust. And here's where Carl Jung, who I introduced in the last episode, comes in. Jung said that what we don't consciously integrate, we continue to live it out unconsciously. What he was saying is this: if you don't face the pattern, you'll keep living the pattern. So you might leave the relationship or the relationship ended, but you still live like you're in it, always anticipating, explaining, and managing. That's the unconscious replaying itself until you finally bring it to the light, which means you allow yourself to see your pattern and decide you want to change it. It is very common for us to tell ourselves we're doing the work by going to therapy and increasing our understanding in our minds of how narcissism works, but underneath, we're still trying to control uncertainty because it feels too terrifying to switch from controlling and predicting our life to trusting that we can handle whatever comes next. We don't need to predict anymore. The shadow version of healing this is a shadow many, many women struggle with, including coaches, therapists, and healers, and that is control disguised as growth. It looks like endlessly reading self-help books, but never resting. Like journaling all about boundaries instead of actually saying no. Like convincing yourself that if you can just understand your triggers a little better, you'll finally feel calm. It feels very productive, but it's really your nervous system saying, if I stay busy working on myself, nothing bad can surprise me. This is still fear and anxiety running the show. Alfred Adler, another foundational psychologist I introduced in the last episode, took this one a step further. He believed that our deepest drive isn't pleasure or even safety, it's significance. We want to feel competent, purposeful, and in control of our own destiny. But during narcissistic abuse and after, significance gets tangled with survival. You learned that being alert, responsible, and accommodating gave you value. It made you good. So now, when there's nothing left to fix or manage, you feel disoriented. Your system doesn't know how to feel significant without struggle. Let me say that one again, because it is so, so foundational to you evolving into a woman who no longer struggles with anxiety. Your system has likely learned from a very early age that in order to feel significant, you have to struggle. Struggle to be seen, struggle to be heard, struggle by over-explaining yourself, struggle by overworking or giving to the point of exhaustion, struggle to keep the family moving forward with no support. It has always been a struggle, and that's why peace feels so foreign. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system and your identity both learned that calm meant danger, or worse, insignificance. So it keeps scanning, it keeps thinking, it keeps healing, not because you're stuck, but because your body and psyche haven't learned peace yet. How to relax into that. You're not resisting peace, you're just unfamiliar with it. And the work now isn't to keep analyzing why you're doing this. It's to start experiencing what safety, stillness, and significance feel like without the chaos. Okay, so let's look at some things to do. Step 1, ground in the present moment. When anxiety rises, don't ask why. Why am I so anxious? Just tell yourself, tell your body, I'm safe. My body is remembering danger that isn't here. Look around, name what's different. You're in a different room, living a different life, and one of the most important things you can do is to use your 5 senses to ground yourself to what's happening right now. Name things you see. What can you touch? What are the sensations in your hands when you touch something? What can you smell? You can put a candy in your mouth or a delicious flavor and taste the flavor. Grounding yourself in the present moment through all 5 of your senses is one of the most powerful ways you can begin to get your mind out of that anxiety, dial it back, and just come down to right now. Maybe you don't know how you're going to pay your bills at the end of the month. Maybe you don't know if you're going to lose custody of your children. There's some big stuff that may be coming up for you. But right now, you're just here watching me talk to you on YouTube and nothing's happening. Ground yourself in the moment with your senses. Right now, you can be present and feel peace. Okay? Number 2, practice receiving. After abuse, giving feels safe. Receiving feels dangerous because it was dangerous, or because the moments you allowed yourself to hope that someone might show up for you, they didn't. And that disappointment became unbearable. So you learned to stop expecting, to stop needing, to stop receiving. But here's the truth: healing can't reach you if your system is still closed to receiving. So we start small, because opening those receptors, the parts of you that can take in love, help, comfort, and care, is what evolves you from a woman who is anxious to a woman who is anchored. And I can feel you tensing up right now as I say this. The thought of relying on someone or asking someone for help, even a little bit, makes your whole body brace. And I get it. I've lived that too. Honestly, this concept still stretches me every time I practice it, but I can promise you on the other side, it's worth it, because this is what peace actually feels like. So here's your invitation for number 2. Start small, simple but powerful. So at home, allow somebody to help you. Don't say, no, it's fine, and jump up and do it yourself. Just settle in and say thank you if they get a coffee for you or clear the dishes for you. That's your nervous system learning to relax in someone else's presence, even your children or a family member. Okay, when a coworker says, hey, I can take that for you, resist the instinct to say, no, I've got it. No, I can do it. Just say, that would be great. Thank you. Notice how much your body wants to grab that control back. Breathe through it. Let them help you. Just say thank you without trying to explain, oh, yes, you can do it, but it's only because I have to go pick up my kid because I have to go to the doctor because, no. Just say thank you and receive the gift that your coworker wants to give you of supporting you and helping you and doing some of the project with you or for you. All right. So with your friends, if someone brings you coffee or pays for lunch, don't rush to even the score or say, I'll get it next time. Just let yourself receive a small kindness without earning it. Just say thank you. With your own body, when someone hugs you, even your child or a friend, notice if your body tenses and wants to pull away. If this is a safe person, try to soften into the contact for one extra second. Let yourself receive the love they want to give you. That's how your nervous system learns closeness and safety again. Okay, so in your spiritual practice, when something good happens, an unexpected free afternoon, a compliment, a moment of beauty, instead of brushing it off, whisper, I will let myself have this. I'm going to receive this moment. Again, I know that receiving is so incredibly challenging and difficult, but here is the really hard truth when it comes to never wanting to attract a narcissist again. When you learn the art of receiving, when you allow yourself to receive, this is the number one thing that demagnetizes you from a narcissist. Because the number one thing a narcissist will never do is give to you. Give you attention, give you love, give you something to your benefit. Now, they will give you something if they see that there's something in it for them, but they're not going to just lovingly, graciously give to you because you're a person they care about. So learning this art of receiving is one of the number one ways, again, that you can demagnetize yourself from attracting people like that into your life. Okay, let's move on to step 3, letting go of self-monitoring. This is a hard one. You don't need to analyze every feeling. You don't need to interpret every emotional dip you have. You don't have to constantly check in on whether you're doing the work. That's not mindfulness, that's hypervigilance turned inward. When you've lived in survival mode long enough, your nervous system learns to scan everything, people, tone, energy, to stay safe. But once the danger is gone, that scanning doesn't stop, it just turns to you. Suddenly your brain is watching your own emotions the way you used to watch other people's emotions. You'll go like, was that a trauma response? Did I just get triggered? Was that boundary healthy? You're still trying to stay safe, just now by managing yourself. What this looks like in real life is you catch yourself journaling about a tough day and then immediately evaluating whether you handled it well. You'll replay conversations wondering if you sounded healed enough. Maybe you feel a wave of sadness, and instead of letting it move through you, you start analyzing, where did that sadness come from? It can also look like having a quiet night at home and thinking, I should be meditating or journaling. What should I be doing right now? So I need to be processing something. You start to rest and then check in on whether you're resting correctly. That's what hypervigilance does. It doesn't rest until it's sure you're safe. So if your healing has felt like a full-time job, this is likely why. What's actually happening is your body hasn't learned that it can exist without being monitored. There's still a low-grade fear that if you stop tracking yourself or tracking what's happening, something bad is going to happen. It's going to slip through. You'll get blindsided or lose progress. So your nervous system keeps you busy managing peace instead of experiencing peace. So for practice, let's start with 1 hour a day, maybe 30 minutes a day. Don't track what you're doing. Don't ask yourself how you're feeling or why you're feeling or what it means. Don't check in. Don't fix anything. Just live. Just be. Take a walk without turning it into a grounding exercise. Cook dinner without narrating how nourishing it is. Watch a show. It can be a trashy show without thinking about attachment styles of the characters. Let your mind be unproductive. Let your nervous system experience what nothing feels like. At first, it feels foreign and very uncomfortable. Your brain will want to pull you back into self-analysis because it confuses calm with danger. Don't panic. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. This is your healing in motion. You are literally teaching your body in real time that peace doesn't need supervision, and you do that through living. Being present without monitoring yourself is how you step into true freedom. It's how you move from managing your healing to living your life. Every time you stop narrating, assessing, or correcting, you tell your nervous system, I don't have to be vigilant. I don't have to watch myself to be safe anymore. And that's the beginning of true safety. The kind that doesn't require effort to maintain. It's in your beingness. I want to share a little bit of my personal story here. When I finally started to feel peace, I didn't recognize it as peace. I felt bored. And that boredom immediately triggered every insecurity I had about being lazy, about being unmotivated, and especially being insignificant. For years, I only felt valuable when I was overcoming something, when there was a crisis to manage, a deadline to meet, a person to fix. Struggle made me feel purposeful. It gave me a role. Without it, I felt like I was disappearing. So what did I do? I unconsciously started creating struggle again. Not because I wanted drama, I hated drama, but because it was the only way I knew how to feel alive. How it looked in everyday life, in my mornings, I'd make getting out of the door an emotional marathon. Instead of just doing what I needed to do to get myself and my kids ready and out the door, I turned it into this whole thing. I needed to add a nutritious breakfast. I needed to meditate. There were all these things that I added on top through pressure that I needed to do so that I could be successful at being healed, at being the best version of me. But I was just creating more stress because I was not in a season of life where I could have long, slow mornings. Now I am. My kids are older, but it just wasn't at that time. So assess where you are in your timeline of raising kids or not, or what your mornings look like, and decide what a peaceful morning is for you right now. Work. If things were running smoothly, I'd find a problem to fix. I'd volunteer for extra clients, over prepare for sessions, or decide my website needed a total redesign, like right now. I tell myself I was being productive, but really I was just recreating stress in my body that equated significance. In my relationships, I'd read between the lines of every text, overthink the silence, assume someone was upset with me. I'd turn neutral interactions into emotional puzzles to solve. Because if everything was fine, I didn't know what to do with myself. Even in my own healing journey, I'd convinced myself I hadn't healed enough. Maybe I need another training, another certification, another journaling practice. I couldn't rest because I didn't believe rest had value unless it was earned. And with my own body, even on days I felt physically good, I'd look for something to improve. I'm searching for supplements, a new workout, I'd do a cleanse or some biohack. I didn't realize that I was addicted to having a problem to solve. every bit of this was my nervous system chasing familiarity. Peace felt unsafe. Calm felt empty. So my mind manufactured friction so I could feel alive again. It wasn't until I could sit in that boredom without making it mean I was lazy or failing that I realized the boredom wasn't a lack of meaning. It was the absence of crisis. And that's when I started to heal for real. It took some time. When I stopped needing something to struggle about, my nervous system could finally learn that ease is not insignificance, it's safety. Please, I want you to get this. You have been through so much. Most likely your whole life story has been about struggle in one way or another. If you have endured what others put you through and you've carried the emotional labor for people who never carried it for you, if you don't hear anything else today, hear this. Don't let even one more day of your precious life go by treating yourself the same way they did. You can learn to get out of this crisis stress response. You can teach your body that it doesn't have to live on adrenaline or anxiety to matter. Yes, it's against cultural norms to live this way. The world glorifies grind, hustle, sacrifice. But this is why I call it courageous living. Listen, you have already proven you have courage. You survived everything that tried to break you. Now it's time to use that same courage in the most powerful way possible to set yourself free. Okay, if this still feels like you, anxious, restless, or still waiting for peace, even after all the work that you've done, please hear me, you're not failing. You're simply still living the way your body learned to survive. Your system is doing exactly what it was designed to do, to protect you. But now it's time to teach it something new. That safety doesn't mean that danger is coming. You don't need to dig deeper or work harder. You've already done the hard part. Now the work is gentler. It's helping your body feel the truth of what your mind already knows. It's safe to stop scanning. It's safe to rest. It's safe to receive. And it's safe to be me. This is the beginning of true freedom, not the kind that's loud or dramatic, but the kind that feels like coming home to yourself. Because freedom isn't the absence of anxiety. It is the presence of safety. It's the moment you stop managing peace and start feeling it. So if you've been living in survival long after the danger ended, this is your turning point. This is the moment to begin practicing a new kind of courage, the courage to live like it's over. All right, I will see you in the next episode of Awake But Not Free, where we are going to explore what safety actually feels like in the body. We'll explore what the phrase means. Come home to yourself. I cannot wait. And if this resonated with you, if you saw yourself in these stories or felt something stir while you were listening, I want you to know there are a few ways that we can keep going together besides this series. I have 3 different ways right now to support you. One is completely free. One's an 8-week journey you can join for about the cost of a single therapy session. And one is a private 5-hour deep dive intensive for women ready to go all in. It's just me and you. So I'm going to take a second to explain each of the 3. I mentioned one before, the Finally at Peace guide. If you're just beginning to understand how your nervous system has been running the show, then this is a great place to start. The Finally at Peace guide is my free download that helps you recognize the difference between living in survival mode and living in safety and freedom. You'll learn the early signs that your nervous system is stuck in overdrive, what peace actually feels like, and a few simple shifts to begin calming your body in real time. I have a checklist and a quiz so you can determine exactly where you are on that scale of complete survival mode to doing great, living in safety and freedom. Where are you? This will help you figure that out. It's a powerful and perfect first step. Okay, the second option is an 8-week journey I call it the Courageous Living Nervous System Reset. It's a very curated experience. If you're ready to take what you've learned today and actually live it and have a really specific timeline on implementing it, this is great for you. Again, it's 8 weeks. I have very specific steps in each of the 8 weeks to help you break free from chronic stress and self-abandonment and start building a life that feels peaceful, grounded, and alive. The entire experience costs about the same as one therapy session. You get lifetime access to the information. In this 8 weeks, we will move through the practical embodied steps that teach your nervous system how to trust calm again and help you remember what it feels like to thrive and maybe even tell yourself for the first time. All right, my last option is a 5-hour intensive. This is something I don't always offer, but it is on offer right now. And it is for you if you are ready for a major shift. This is a private one-on-one experience, just me and you, where we spend half a day together mapping out your patterns, identifying what's keeping you stuck, helping your body finally release the old stress responses that no longer serve you. It's very deep, it's personalized, and it's designed for the woman who is ready to accelerate transformation. You know you're right on the edge. You just really need a lot of concentrated time to focus on this. Then this is going to be great for you. Okay, so the links for all of those are in the description. Check them out. I would absolutely love to see you at any one or all of those. And if nothing else, please just hang out right here on the channel. Be sure to hit subscribe. Tell a friend. I'd love to hear how this impacted you. And each comment or like or subscription that tells the algorithm to send it out to more women like you who need to hear this message. So please support more women being able to get connected to this work. And I will see you in the next episode.